The Yuuzhan Vong were an extragalactic species which invaded the galaxy 25 years after the Battle of Yavin, and only used biotechnology, meaning all of their ships, armor, and weapons were living because they hated machines. I'm pretty sure you already know the basics of the Vong since you saw the title and clicked the video, and this is far from my first Yuuzhan Vong invasion video, so you probably already sat through this intro quite a few times, so let's start the video. The Vong are invading the galaxy during the reign of the Dark Empire, just like the title says again. So the Dark Empire was the reborn Emperor Palpatine's secret empire headquartered in the deep core with many super weapons such as World Devastators, Eclipse-class dreadnoughts, and the Galaxy Gun. This empire launched an onslaught onto the galaxy in 10 ABY in the expanded universe, known as Operation Shadow Hand, where the reborn Emperor Palpatine sought to reconquer the galaxy. The state of the galaxy when the Yuuzhan Vong invasion occurs will be witnessing Operation Shadow Hand, so the New Republic, for the most part, is being absolutely decimated. The New Republic had been victorious during the Battle of Mon Calamari, destroying the Dark Empire's World Devastators, but at such a massive cost. However, the New Republic had dealt a major blow to the Dark Empire by destroying the Eclipse 1 dreadnought, so they're not really out of the fight yet. This will be when the Yuuzhan Vong invades the galaxy, as the New Republic is on its knees, still licking its wounds, while the Dark Empire is on a rampage. The Vong will start off in the Outer Rim territories as they begin colonizing and terraforming planets through mass genocide. The Dark Empire starts off kind of ignoring the threats as the reborn Emperor's primary goal is destroying resistance to his rule within the galaxy. At the same time, Palpatine sees opportunity with the Vong invasion. Now, the Dark Empire was actually a lot more evil than the regular Empire, which had its good aspects to it. So you see, Palpatine had begun to make his forces more fully automated while still using human forces in the Stormtrooper Corps and other aspects of the Dark Empire's military forces. However, the reborn Emperor did not care about his forces after the fall of the original Empire, as he saw the Imperial Civil War and mutiny as necessary to punish the Empire as well as to weed out the weak. But with that, the reborn Emperor had prior knowledge about the Yuuzhan Vong and their existence as a threat to the galaxy since before the Clone Wars. With this, the Yuuzhan Vong will take advantage of Palpatine's priorities being aimed at the remains of the New Republic and continue their conquest. But the Vong are facing the Dark Empire as a resistance, and automated TIE fighters are going to make the Vong extremely mad. There is also another factor, being the Empire of the Hand, which had been Grand Admiral Thrawn's empire in the unknown regions. Previously in 9 ABY, Grand Admiral Thrawn had returned to the known galaxy and launched the massive, brilliant Thrawn campaign against the New Republic, but despite his genius, Thrawn was betrayed and killed at the Battle of Bilbringi. Thrawn had left the Empire of the Hand under the leadership of Admiral Vos Park, and Park had a select group of top officers, including General Suntir Fel, as well as other cadre Thrawn loyalist Chiss, who were given the responsibility of upholding Thrawn's visions in expanding this empire. None of them believed that the Grand Admiral was truly dead, having been told of Thrawn's strategies and that he would return 10 years later. However, with the Vong invasion, they're going to spring into action. With that, the Empire of the Hand and likely Chiss Ascendancy will be launching a massive intervention into the known galaxy. The Empire of the Hand and Chiss will be cutting off Yuuzhan Vong forces that are coming into the galaxy as the Dark Empire starts turning its attention onto the Vong within the galaxy. Palpatine sees this as a convenient way of looking like the Liberator, since the Vong are easily 100 times worse than his new evil empire. The campaign witnesses the Dark Empire making extensive use of the Eclipse 2 dreadnought to blast Yuuzhan Vong world ships. Meanwhile, the Galaxy Gun is wiping out Vong strongholds from within the deep core. Resistance groups fighting against the alien invaders will also be working with elements of the Dark Empire's ISB to coordinate further sabotage of the Vong. The Dark Empire is going to essentially use every asset in its arsenal against the Vong, including as many experimental bioweapons as possible. As the galaxy is defeating the Yuuzhan Vong and victory is assured, Carnor Jax's delayed betrayal against Palpatine comes the same as it had in the comics, except for the fact that it's now approximately 12 ABY. Yep, just about 2 years of galactic struggle as the Vong's foothold is not near as strong as it was when the New Republic was the galactic hegemon in 25 ABY. Anyway, Jax kills Palpatine's clones as the reborn Emperor insists on being present in a battle against the Vong, and as Palpatine's dark energy is degrading his last remaining clone body. After Jax seizes control of the Dark Empire, the Yuuzhan Vong will continue to be defeated on the battlefield. However, Palpatine loyalists such as Kir Kanos would still seek to avenge the death of Emperor Palpatine. Crimson Empire may have won the war against the Yuuzhan Vong, but an internal Imperial Civil War type event is about to begin. But until everything fully falls apart for the Crimson Empire, Jax heavily liberalizes the Empire to make himself be viewed as more legitimate and popular with the post-war galaxy. With the war over, Kanos and his followers begin a bloody insurrection against the Crimson Empire. Additionally, various Imperial warlords now see no reason to stick with the Crimson Empire and decide to carve out their own areas and assets of the Empire to rule once more. Although various elements would call for a renewed Imperial Civil War and warlord conflicts, most of the galaxy remains devastated from the Yuuzhan Vong War, and most factions are just kinda content to stay ruling their own territories or keep Karnor Jax on the throne for the sake of stability. But that is all just my opinion. What do you think would have happened had the Yuuzhan Vong invaded the galaxy during the Dark Empire's reign? Write in the comments, and thank you for watching.